All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining today's webinar. We're really excited to announce V2 of SureDone. I know a lot of you guys have been long awaiting for this day, and so what I'm going to go through here is I'm just going to start my screen share now, and we're going to actually start going through the webinar. Towards the end of the webinar, feel free to ask questions, or as we're going along. I'm going to save all the questions for the end. And so I'm not going to be answering questions as I go along unless it's something that I in fact missed. And so we're going to get this thing going here. And so the first thing that we're looking at here is our new and reinvented dashboard. So on our dashboard, you'll be able to see some of your orders that came in. You'll be able to see your totals for shipping, and you'll be able to see your items. Now, this account that I'm in is a demo account. And so you're not seeing the best data. If my business really looked like this, I'd probably be in a lot of trouble. This is my tax information over here. So if you're charging taxes, you could keep track of the tax that you're charging your customers. A new really awesome feature that we added to SureDone is now product history. And so what this enables you to do, and this specifically goes out to people who have multiple users working in SureDone, this allows for you to actually be able to keep track of the history of every item in your account. And so, for example, let's say you have 10 people who are listing products for your business, and you want to see why a certain item ended or why a certain item had the wrong information in there. You can now be able to see insight on that. This will show you the account ID that it was edited by, the channel that the action was performed on, and then the actual action that was performed. If you click in here, you'll actually even be able to see more information about that item, and then the change data and the requests that were sent in. Now, some of this stuff is for advanced users, some of the certain logs, and so just keep in mind when you're looking through there, you should know what you're doing when you're going through. There's also a section over here that takes you to a logging section. So this will actually allow for you to create filters, and you could select which marketplace we're referring to or which integration we're referring to. And you can actually do searches right through here. And so pretty neat feature of SureDone. Be sure to read up on the documentation on how to use that as soon as we launch that. Going into our new product editor view, you'll be able to see all of your products. And what's really nice is we've reinvented this entire page from scratch. So I know in the old interface you were kind of locked into one view. You couldn't move anything around. You couldn't dictate what you wanted to see on each page. What we've now done here is we've made it where you can actually customize whatever it is that you want. So if you don't want to see this field here, you just click that button, you hit delete, and it removes it. Everything can now be manipulated. So for some of you guys who have titles that are over 100 characters long and maybe are making your page have to scroll all the way across in the old interface, you can now shrink that title field or expand it. And so you have full control over that. You can also add whatever fields you'd like to see in SureDone. And so if there's a certain field you'd like to see, and we do separate these by the marketplace that it's listed to, you can actually go ahead here and, if I want to see my MPN, I can add my user MPN field here. Another great feature of SureDone is you can now do save searches. So if I'm looking for all of my Canon products, I could type in Canon. Give that a second, let that load up all my Canon products. I click add this search, type in Canon, and now I would hit save. And so now I have a saved search. So if I want to see my Acer products, I could switch over like that. If I want to go back to my Canon, I could go to Canon. Now that I've created a saved search, if it's something I no longer want in my system, I could just hit delete this search, and that will completely remove the search from my system. And so now I'll no longer see that saved search in that menu. A couple new things that we've added here. There's now a summary, so you can actually view a summary of your item. So you want to see what's going on with your item. You want to see some logging as to the last actions that were performed on it, how many times it was sold, how many are remaining. And a little picture of it. That allows you to view a little summary. You can also now edit inline. And so if you wanted to adjust the price for this product, I could say, hey, you know what? I want this product to be $59.99. Hit the check mark, and that'll actually update the product on all the marketplaces that it's listed to. Let's say I want to change a couple different products. I could go here, select multiple items, and do a bulk edit. And now I can manipulate all the data at once. You can also control which fields are editable. So if I want to shut these off, I could go here and shut off bulk editing, and that will actually remove that column. So it's kind of like working on a spreadsheet without having to export the data and import it. We do recommend this for smaller batch updates, and then obviously sticking to a spreadsheet for very large updates. If you're doing anything over 50 or 100 items, we do recommend still using a CSV spreadsheet. But if you wanted to adjust prices on 20 or 30 items at the same time, this would be the way to do it. What's really nice about this feature here too is you can actually change so that they all move at the same time. So if you fill out the box up top, that'll manipulate the data for all of them at the same time. You can also end your listings, relist them, and delete them in the same fashion. So just a couple neat features that we've added there. You can also, go here to delete your product as usual, or you could create a similar product or create a variation of that product. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to take you guys into a single item now that I've covered that. And what we'll do is let's pull up, let's just go into any item. So let's click into this MacBook Pro, or MacBook Air rather. What we've now enabled in SureDone V2 is the ability to add what we call eBay and Amazon instances. That also goes for the other plugins that we have, whether it's Etsy or ShipStation or Magento or Volusion. And what that enables you to do is you can have multiple eBay accounts and multiple Amazon accounts. And to do that, all you would do is go under our channel settings. And I'm going to open that up in a new tab. And once that loads up, you'll see that we've kind of moved things around. And it's literally as simple as clicking a button, clicking Add eBay, giving it a name, and then hitting Save Settings. Once you've done that, that will actually add a new eBay account. It'll give you an Authorize button, and it will give you all of the same settings that you're used to having on your main eBay account. The same goes for Amazon, and then the same goes for all of our plugins. We've also added several more plugins, so you'll see here on our new plugins page that you have Etsy, SKU Vault, ShipStation, and Magento all available for your use. Going back to a single item editor, you're now going to see all of those instances that I was referring to. And so over here is where you're going to dictate where you want your products to be listed to. And so you can go ahead and select, okay, I want to only list it to my 2 Amazon accounts. And then over here you have all of your information. We did add what we call Q-tips, and these will actually give you information about what every field is. If you look at the value before the colon, that's what you're going to use as the header name on a spreadsheet. So for example, if I went to full description, the header name for that is long description. So that's what you're going to use if you're bulk uploading a file. And so we've added that on just about every field in SureDone on this editor page. You should be able to see that field, so it tells you the site, listing type, etc. What's nice is you no longer have to scroll all the way to the bottom of the page to do something. This bar at the bottom is actually fixed, and so as you scroll, the bottom bar is always there. You can retry items, update items, and then of course do all the other actions that you're used to seeing right off of this page. Going back up here, we've added something called ghosting. What ghosting is this. I can actually type in a title, and so I'm going to type in Apple ghosting test. And if I now go to each marketplace, you're going to see that it says Apple ghosting test. And so now, instead of actually just having a blank field there, not knowing what you're actually going to be sending to the marketplace, we've now kind of shown you an idea of what that value is going to be prior to you having to go there. We've also added another segment of ghosting where I could say Nike, and I could go here to eBay main, and what we'll do is we'll do a category search. And so I'm going to search for men's shoes. If I do a search here for men's shoes, you'll see we have the same search functionality. I could go here to athletic, and now all of your item specifics will load, and will actually preload the data. If you filled it out earlier in the page, well, it's going to show up in there too. And if you manipulate it over here, so if I say Adidas and I go back to general, the fields move together because they're linked to each other. We've added that kind of intuitiveness to SureDone. We've also added pre-validation checks. So over here, you're going to see there's an X. The reason for that X and why it didn't get a check mark is we still have 2 fields that are required to fill out. If I go ahead and fill out these two fields, so I put in a size and let's say I put in a style, you'll see that they now have a check mark because they have been pre-validated with the required item specific. So that product is now ready to be listed to eBay. For your media, we've now added a built-in media editor, so you can actually click a photo and do full-on image editing right through here. You could crop your photos, change the brightness, and change the contrast and colors. You can also add text to your photos right off this image editor. Once you're done, you save that. You can now drag and drop photos off your desktop. So you can actually drag something from your desktop, put it here, and that will actually drag it into place. And so that will actually load all your images right into the editor. You can also plug in a URL to an image. And if you put in a URL to an image here, it'll load up with a preview where you could actually go ahead and edit that image. And then, as usual, you can rearrange your photos as you wish. Moving on to our shipping section, we've now grouped all of our shipping details. So you can actually go ahead, put in your item dimensions, select your eBay options. We do support shipping profiles, so you could go here and select a shipping profile. And we've now added the logic that says, hey, if an eBay shipping profile is selected, remove all the other shipping fields because you can't do both. You could go here and do manual shipping. So if you wanted to manually add your shipping methods, you can set them up. I could say free shipping, add another shipping method, just like eBay. We do, of course, still support international shipping. You could select your options here, turn on global shipping program if you wish. And every section that you're listing on, every marketplace you're listing on will, of course, have its details for shipping. If you're using the SureDone storefront, you will also see the SureDone storefront shipping options. Custom fields. I know we've heard a lot of complaints about the custom fields in V1 because there was too many of them, they were janky, you couldn't move them around. So we've worked really hard to add features that would help you guys out. So you can now actually drag and customize your view. And so if you want to see something like this, you can. And let's say you don't care about the carrier anymore. I don't want to see that every time I list a product. You just click the X and it'll hide it. What it actually did was it put it in this drop down. So if you do want it back at any point, you just click here and it'll pop right back into place. That will save. So as you've kind of moved all of those into there, that view will save permanently until you re-add that field back to place. That's your custom fields. And then, of course, you have your history, which will show you the item history. So as you make changes or as some of your employees make changes, you can actually see all of those changes take place within this editor page. Now, let's talk a little bit about users and user permissions. What we've now done here is if you go to your profile page, you're going to see that you're going to have users, so you can add new users to your account. And once you've added a user here, you could select if they're a user or an admin. And then you'll also see their ID. So this is the IDs that we were looking at earlier in our logging over here. You have this account ID, and that account ID tells you which user it is. And then over here, you can actually control what kind of permissions they have. So full control means that that user can actually go ahead, list products, see everything, make changes. View control means they can only take a look at what's there. They can't manipulate any of the data. And then deny means that you completely deny them from having control over a certain section. We did add the granularity for you to be able to control which section, so you can have somebody who's only listing products and somebody who's only handling orders work simultaneously with different restrictions so they don't have access to everything. Moving back to our product editor page, let's talk a little bit about variations and how those work through here. So I'm going to do a search for status attribute, and what this tells me is that the product is a child product. And so now I've pulled up certain products that are variations, and so what I could go ahead and do is I could take one of these products and for this product it looks like right now I don't have any variants of it. I don't think so. There's no variations tab here on the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a size. Well, the size is definitely not black. So we're going to say 7 megapixels, and we're going to say black, and we're going to update this item. Now I'm going to go here to select an action, and I'm going to hit create variation. We're going to create a white one, so we're going to do that and hit create. And now what you see is it just created a variation of this item. So if I click this variations tab here, you'll see I now have my new product here with the color. Whoops, I must have clicked something. You'll see now that I have a product here. It shows me the GUID, shows me the variation. If I want to go ahead and create another variation, I can click here. Now, if you want to be able to customize more than just the price and stock through this page, all you have to do is if you go back to your all products page, so long as you add those variant fields to this page, you can actually go ahead and edit them. So if I add color here and I add size here, since everything is communicating with each other, if I just refresh this product page now, oh, and it looks like I might have created the variation improperly. If I started from scratch, you know, that's the fun part of course, using a demo account. But if I was to add those fields, they would actually populate right into here. Now, you can also edit these products inline, so if you wanted to make changes, you could do so, or you could create other variations right off of this page. So if I want to do that, I could just hit create, and that will actually add another variation to this page. You have to give it a second just so that it copies all the product data, and it'll actually bring you to that product page. And so now you see I have multiple items without having to go through too much headache of creating those variations. Now, for those of you guys who are doing fitment, let's start a new product over here. So we're going to go down to the eBay section. And by fitment, I'm referring to the guys who are selling on eBay Motors. And maybe you have, you're selling motorcycle parts or car parts, and you want to add fitment data for your products. All you now have to do is I could type in exhaust, and so this will actually search the eBay Motors catalog. You'll see here I could go here and select an exhaust system. Once I've done that, it's created a new section down below here on the left. You'll see fitment. I could go down to this fitment section, and what I could do is I could select ranges. Now, you could go from 2011 to 2015, or if you want, you could select it in reverse order, 2014 to 2010. Our system's intuitive enough to know which order you're trying to go into. So if I select 2014 to 2010, I could select my BMW parts, and I could select, let's say, a 335i. If I press this plus button, what it'll do is it'll actually go to eBay and pull up all of those 335i compatibilities. And it'll add all of the years, 2013, 14, 12, 2010, etc. And it'll actually pull in all that product data. If I wanted to add some more products here, I could say it also fits a 2010 BMW, well, I clicked the wrong thing. BMW 135, and I could select a specific trim or engine type, and then hit the plus sign, and that'll actually add my 135. Now I've successfully added all the fitment I'd like. I can move on through listing my product. Our bulk upload section has pretty much stayed the same. For some of you guys who are a little bit newer, or maybe even some of you guys who are a little bit older and haven't spoken to a sales engineer in quite some time, we did add a new feature here where if you're bulk uploading and using URLs, if you check this box over here when uploading that file, we'll actually go to that URL, download the image to our servers, and host it here, so you don't have to worry about hosting your own images or relying on third-party servers to host those images. The same functionality still exists here with uploading CSVs up to 250,000 items per upload. We've now updated that because it used to be 100,000, and you can now upload up to 300 megabytes of photos. You still have your results section here, your templates, and everything else, and so not much has changed there for you guys who've been using the system for quite some time. We've kind of rearranged the menu over here, so you're going to see if you're using the SureDone storefront, you're going to see all of these sections over here. You're going to see your categories, you're going to see your pages, you're going to see your storefront link. If you're not using the storefront, this link will not be available to you. For orders, if you click here on orders, we've kind of cleaned up the orders page. This will still show you all of the order information. You can now click into an order, of course, and manipulate the data over here and see what was ordered. Everything's been cleaned up from what you guys are used to seeing. And a really neat feature about orders is you can now manually add an order. And so in the past, you were not able to do this. If you have to manually add something, let's say somebody called you over the phone and you wanted to create an order here, you could do so. And of course, add your inventory to this order and create your own custom order. The search functionality stays the same. Always be sure to select what you're searching by over here on the drop-down menu. And then just a couple other things, just to kind of show you where everything is for you guys who've been using the system for quite some time. Our settings now encompass our general settings, of course, our advanced for our custom user fields. So you could still do all that. We've now kind of updated the way things look. So if you click here, you'll actually be able to see a nice little pop-up that explains what each thing is. And so if you have a question on what one of these things, what one of these fields does, is you could just click those question marks. To go down the page, of course, you have your business settings. Your selling settings now encompasses your payment options, tax options, SKU options, images, and store options. For your marketplaces that you're listening to, your eBay and Amazon, those will now be found under channels. They're no longer under your selling settings. We've kind of grouped them here because we've added the ability to add instances, and we didn't want the selling settings to get too clustered. And so now you can manage your eBay and Amazon from here. For additional plugins, you can go here. Templates, in case you're looking to use our templating engine. Automation will show you the logging that we were talking about earlier. And then, of course, the assets, which is our media manager. Looks like somebody uploaded a really massive number 1. And over here, you have your profile information. And then, of course, we do have a link to our support portal for any help that you need. And over here, you have a link to our guides and documentation page. And so that pretty much wraps up what I wanted to go over with this new interface. I am going to open up the chat. If anybody has any questions they'd like to throw out there, I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. The first question I'm seeing here, how do you resize columns on the order screen? Currently, the order screen is actually locked into place. The reason for this is because we reinvented the entire products page. We do have changes coming to the orders page, but currently everything is fixed. The only way to extend it is to actually widen your browser. So the wider your browser gets, the more those columns are going to change and the more data they'll actually show you. But you can't manipulate the fields one by one. Now, for those of you guys who are looking, how do I switch over to the new version? All you have to do in your current SureDone account is go to Settings, then General, and then at the bottom of the page, you'll see a switch that says V2. You're going to check that switch and hit Save Settings, and that will redirect you to the new version. I have 2 eBay accounts and 2 Amazon accounts on SureDone. How do I merge them into one SureDone account? That we would also, tell you to contact your sales engineer or who you're assigned to, so they can actually assist you with that. But what we are offering now is we are offering a new template that we've now designed for SureDone customers. We're exclusively offering it to existing customers for a very low rate. And so this is actually what the new SureDone template looks like. And so if you're interested in getting a template for your storefront upgraded, you can actually now take advantage of this template. Please contact support or your sales engineer to learn more about how you do that and how to utilize it. But you can now have a fully customized, template where you have all your details. This is now tablet and mobile responsive. So as I scale this down, you'll see that it still works. If I click Add to Cart, there we go. And so that checkout page here is now also responsive. For those of you guys who've ever tried to check out on a SureDone storefront on the old template, you'll see that it was not responsive like such on mobile devices. And so if you're interested in this, once again, contact your sales engineer or support, and they'll be able to direct you in the right direction. You can do sales on products as you're seeing here. And so there's 2 sections in SureDone where you could set that up. So for SureDone, if you're using our storefront, under our selling settings, you'll actually be able to see under store options, you have a section for promo codes. So you can turn on a promo code here, and you could create a new code, and then you can fill out all these details. The details on how to set up a promo code are actually available under our guide section over here. Under the storefront segment, you'll be able to find promo codes. And that's it for today, guys. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to whoever you've been working with in the past months. And, we hope you guys really enjoy V2. We are open to feedback. We are making additional changes as time goes on. We've been working really hard to get this to you guys, and we really hope you guys enjoy the new changes of SureDone. Thanks for your time.